Welcome back to yet another 213 crispy video. And today we are going to do kind of I'm going to say an intro to RC boating and kind of what I would suggest and what's out there for the market for you guys. So we're going to start off with the basics of what most people need to know. You've got predominantly three types of boats that are out on the market. So you've got a V-hull design, you've got a hydroplane, then you have what's called a catamaran. They all have like their own nicknames, like that's the V, hydro, and cat. It kind of is the norm. There are other boats out there, don't get me wrong. There is a kind of like an outboard style of a hydroplane mixed with a catamaran that's out there. There's called outriggers that are out there. There's a bunch of other types out there, but these are predominantly the three that you're going to find that are the most common in today's market when it comes to what type of boat that you're looking for, but also kind of gives you an idea of driver skill. So that's why I'm giving you the intro to the three boat hull types, because they all three will drive differently. So if you are a very beginner, so that's kind of what this video is designed for, is the entry-level person, you probably want to start with the V-hull design. Now, if you have a private pond and you have great access to it and it's not very choppy and you kind of are more advanced on your hand-eye coordinations, or if you've been in the RC world some more, then you may want to just go straight to one of the what I would call semi-advanced hull designs. But long story short, the V-hull handles pretty much any wake, any water condition, pretty much anything you want to throw at it. The V-hull will take it and it will handle pretty good. You'll be able to get decent success out of your V-hull comparably to what these two will let you do. They both have their advantages and their disadvantages, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the V-hull is, if you're introductory into boating, you're just kind of I would like to get a boat, but I don't know a whole lot about them. That's where I would start with. I would start with your V-hull. Just because the way the V-hull is designed, it will take waves, it'll take chop, it'll take shallow water, it'll do pretty much anything and everything you want to throw it at. The driver skill set is definitely lower to run a V-hull than it would be any of the other boats that are out on the market. So the next one that I'm going to cover is going to be a hydroplane. So a hydroplane has two sets of sponsons, which are here, and those are what basically the boat rides on when it comes to getting up on plane, but it'll kind of bounce as it drives. It'll bounce back and forth between the sponsons. And then it's going to have a flat section across the rear, and that's pretty much the only thing that this boat should be touching when it comes to the water and how it sits when it is in full throttle. Is it will want to walk on you. That's called walking. Is it'll bounce back and forth a little bit on you, and it'll ride on the butt end as it's going across the water. So because of that design, you have to learn throttle control, but also these are not designed to turn. So they are designed for one thing and one thing only, and that is to go in a straight line as fast as possible. Now the downside to this is they don't take waves very well. So the front end will take waves very easily if it's really choppy. Actually, these will probably go underwater if you hit a big enough wave trying to get it up on plane and get it going. And they, like I said, they don't turn very well, so you pretty much have to come half throttle or 3/4 throttle just to be able to make a turn in most of your smaller ponds and so forth like that, where your V-hull will turn pretty much like that, and it will not give you a lick of a problem on being able to maneuver around things. So if you're wanting speed, these are the two that you want, but if you're wanting handling, the V-hull is where it's at. And then lastly, the catamaran, it's kind of a mixture of the same setup where what it does is it runs off of your two sponsons as well, but it runs farther back on the boat. So you're going to notice, I don't know if you can see it or not, but let's see if I can zoom in so you'll be able to see the design. I may have to go pick up the boat. But you're going to notice there's some cuts right here. And that's called a step hull design. And that is extremely common in your larger runabout boats that are out there in the market, just regular full-size boats. And what that is designed to do is it's designed to get the boat up out of the water and be able to get more speed out of it. So again, it's kind of a mixture of a V-hull and a hydroplane combination. And I'm going to flip that one over so you guys can see what I'm referring to on how the hull is designed. So let me scoot over here. And I'm going to pick this up. And we're going to flip it over. So if you look at the bottom, let me just set it down. So if you look at the bottom on how this boat is designed, and let's go ahead and flip over the hydroplane. Don't know how well this is going to sit with the GoPro mount. It probably won't. So if you look at the way these two hulls are designed, you're going to notice they have a lot of similarities. So we'll start with the end first. It's going to have a step right here, a step here, and a step here. So these two sponsons that are right here are where the boat predominantly will ride on, and it will also walk. But you notice this sponson runs the entire length, where this sponson on this boat is just right here, and it stops. So you've got this much surface area versus that much surface area. So yes, I know they're bigger boats, the Catamaran's bigger, but if it was comparable, this sponson would run the entire length, not just the front third of the boat. Where the V-hull, it's running pretty much the whole thing. So that's something to keep in mind on how they're designed. So you still get your hull design where it's all flat in the middle, and that's why I said they run, it's kind of a combination. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's my best way that I can interpret it for you guys on the difference between a catamaran, a hydroplane, and a V-hull. So if you're wanting speed, catamarans, outriggers, that's pretty much your two that you truly want. That's going to be for speed, those two. Versus the catamaran, it's going to be a close second. They should be a little slower, but they will handle waves and choppiness a lot better than what the hydroplane will. And then your V-hull, in theory, would end up being your slowest boat of the three. Let me get these flipped back over. We'll come back and then we'll go over some engine types and kind of what to look for, and we'll go from there. So I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so now that we've got the boats flipped back over, we're going to talk about engine types. So with boats, you've got pretty much three options. Similar to the boat hull design, you've got three completely different engines. So the first one is going to be a electronic boat. So this particular boat is a Pro Boat Stealth Wake, and I believe this one is 26 inches, if I remember right, somewhere right around there. And this particular boat is electric, so it's very simple, very easy on how it functions. But you notice there is an electronic speed control, which is here, which is where your battery is going to plug into. Then you've got your connections for your electronic motor, which is down here. And it's very simple. The nice thing about electrical boats is you just charge a battery, and you plug it in, turn it on, and it goes. It's pretty much that simple. You can get a lot of speed, and I will say the quickest option is going to be going with an electric boat, comparably speaking to what the alternative options are. The electrical is going to be faster, especially if you invest in going with LiPo setups and a really good motor and push your boundaries on what they are designed. Then it, hands down, will outrun gas or nitro. That's that option. The downside to electric is it's extremely expensive to get yourself into the hobby of an electric boat. For example, this boat I think is $130, $140 that you can still purchase today. It is a ready-to-run kit made by ProBoat, so that means it comes with everything, but the downside to it is this kit does not perform well when it comes to speed because it's not designed for that. It's running off of an older NiCad, or it's actually a nickel metal hydrate battery instead of LiPos. So that kind of is the downside to this boat, but that's this boat specifically is it's not super quick. Then this nitro is faster than that electric is. But that's the limitations of the older, I'm gonna say entry level ready to run boats, is you're not gonna get the performance out of it. So for something like that, I would have to upgrade it to LiPo batteries and a new electronic speed controller and a new motor, and then that would outrun this nitro hands down. But speaking of nitro, this is the next engine. So nitro powered boats would be option number 2. So with nitro powered, you've got a little nitro engine that runs off of nitro fuel. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I will tell you it's similar to like a car engine, but yes, I'm being very vague. I know it does not run off of spark like a traditional motor, but I ain't going to go down that route. But just for terms of this video of knowing the difference between electric and nitro, this does run off of a nitro fuel, so this does require some know-how of mechanical more than anything. It is not rocket science on being able to run a nitro boat. It's just more of common sense. So if you're, I would say, a teenager or later and you like tinkering with things, then I would suggest going with a nitro boat over an electric boat if you enjoy that type of thing. And for me, and I know a lot of older RC enthusiasts would agree with me, that they really enjoy the sound and the smell of nitro, and that's why most of us continue to run nitro, is because there's no, it's hard to word it without you hearing it and seeing it, but there's no mistake of hearing or seeing a nitro powered vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a car or a boat, anything, comparably speaking to an electric version. They sound different, they drive different, they handle different, but nitro, in my opinion, has a deep spot in my heart, and I know a lot of my friends are the same way with their boats. Now, the Catamaran that I have at the end is also a bigger version of the same motor, so it is also nitro powered. So I do not have an example of the third model, but the third model would be what's called a gasser, which it's very similar to a weed eater engine mounted inside the hull. I know it's not the same, but it's similar in concept. It's the same two-stroke, small stroke cylinder that runs on mixed gasoline, just like what you would put in a traditional weed eater engine, but they do run on higher RPMs. Typically they're made lighter, more stronger. There's more benefits to it, but typically your gasser engines, they're called gassers, so your gasoline driven boats typically start around 40, I want to say 42 inches ish, somewhere right around there, 40, 42, 48 inches, where this is a 31 inch boat. And this one, like for example, this nitro engine is running a 0.15 and this one is running a 0.32, so it's a little over double the size of engine. Comparable in size, I believe the Miss Budweiser's 20, I want to say 28 inches, I think it's 26 inches, where this is 31 inches. So yes, there is a difference in size, but overall it's a lot deeper hull. This thing weighs a lot more than this does as well, so obviously it's going to have a bigger engine in it. But so that's your three options. You've got electric, nitro, and gas. Gas is probably the most expensive thing out there for you to build and run, but run cost is a lot cheaper on gasoline than nitro. Nitro is expensive. The actual gasoline for nitro, the nitro itself is expensive. That's what I was trying to say. And I've got some of that back there. You'll see them in different colors and stuff. But one of those containers is about $10 for a quart, or a pint, sorry. I think it's a pint. Hell, I don't know. It might be a quart, I don't remember now. But, it's a quart. I was trying to read it from here. It's a quart. So, $10, $12, $13-ish. It's like $35, $40, $50 a gallon, depending on what percentage of nitro you run. So, where gasoline, I mean, you're running 91, 93%, so at that point you're running $4 a gallon. I know it's not $4, but just say $4 a gallon versus $50 a gallon. So the nice thing about gassers is they run at lower RPMs, so they have different sounds. Typically you can get a longer run time on a gasser than you would nitrogen or nitro powered boat, and then your electric, depending on your electrical units, well, if LiPo batteries and motors and electronic speed controllers, these two may flip-flop. So for example, I can get 15, 20-ish minutes on this boat with runtime, probably 15 minutes. This boat, I've yet to run a full tank completely out of it, but I would say 15-ish minutes is probably realistic. Probably 10, 15 minutes. It's got a pretty small tank in it. That one's got a bigger tank, so I would bet I can get a lot more out of that one. But I know a buddy of mine says that he can get 30 to 45 minutes on his nitros, and I believe his gasser's roughly about the same. So you do typically get longer run times on your nitro and your gasser engines, comparably speaking to your electrical powered boats. So with that, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go over the controllers and the receivers, and that's not this video. I just wanted to go over the 3 different types that are out there for power, and I wanted to go over the 3 types of hulls that I have to show you. There are other options out there. There's a hydro style boat that has a outboard on the back that's all nitro powered, which is awesome, pretty cool actually. They're real nostalgia. I don't think they really make them anymore. There's called an inboard outboard, so the engine itself is on the inside and it goes through the hull of the boat, and then it's got an actual mechanical lower unit just like a real boat does. That would be common in a lot of like your rigger boats and that kind of stuff. Those are out there as well. You've got prop shaft risen up, kind of like a swamp boat, so it's a nitro powered and have a big prop on the top. Those are out there. There's a bunch of different types and styles, but I just wanted to go over your 3 main ones, which was that. So with that, we're gonna wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for your subscriptions and your comments down below. I appreciate it. If you got any questions, let me know down below. And again, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful and fantastic day. Thank you.